that at this apparent time, the Lord is having us to dig wells. I mean, the Lord told me 4 years ago to start digging wells. And everywhere I've dug a well has been dry for the past 3 years. Now, in dry times, water is sprouting out of all 4 of the wells. Water is just beginning to flow out of all 4 of the wells.
Amen.
I think Christians need to understand that you got to dig a well in your heart and allow the passion and that which God has placed in you to flow out in order to see what God is really positioning you and doing with you during these times.
See, this is why we need to make an investment in the younger people.
Yes.
We need to help them discover what their passion is, what they're really called to do, and then encourage them to do it. You know, the things you said about, you don't just work, you just don't go have a job to get money. You do what your passion is. That's where we got to be with this. That's a beautiful testimony. And
years ago, John, years ago, the Lord told me, he says, 3 times I've had 3 different words spoken over me, but all of prophecy had one key word in it: keys. I had a gentleman tell me years ago that he saw keys in my hand. I had a couple other prophecies talking about keys. And, you know, there's different symbolism of keys in Scripture, but one thing I've come to learn is that my passion is opening up doors for others.
Yep.
You know, where they're stuck, where they can't go further than where they are. My passion is when I see somebody stuck or entrapped in any way, I will open that door up, and that's what I get joy out of. And I say that so just as freely. I know at my age of 44, and I feel that freedom to open doors up for others. I can imagine if the younger generation find out their passions early, how much of a difference they'll make in this society.
Well, this is it. This is what we're, you know, as fathers in the Lord, we're opening up doors for our natural kids, spiritual kids, and they're going to be much more mature than us. I'm just so delighted that many of the people that I work with, I just can see it, that they're going to go so much further than me. And, you know, that does a father's heart good.
Yes.
You know, come on, let's go. Because, you know, what we've done in the past, we've always started from scratch. We've kept the people as babes, and then when they die, we have another generation of babes. You know, if the investment that we make in these younger people begins to develop,
yes,
you know, and then it develops more in the next generation, we're going to have some pretty mature Christians.
That's good.
That understand their God. They understand the kingdom.
Yes.
And that's what we're looking for.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and even as John was speaking, I was just thinking that in a lot of parts of our society, the natural fathers, and even I will say this in the Jewish community, would teach their sons and daughters how to handle money, and then about banking and how to handle money. And so it became a generational thing that they invested in their children, and then their children would mature and they would invest in their children. Well, as John was even speaking about us investing in the sons for the kingdom, it's the same principle. As you invest in them, then they in turn will invest in another generation. What we've done erroneously is, as John said, we've not invested, and we've allowed some things to die off, and then the sons were starting from scratch, and we're having to make their own way. You know, and you know how that is even in the natural. When you're without a father and you're trying to make your own way, you make so many mistakes that you would not have made if you had been fathered.
Right.
And so it all ties in together.
Yes. Because when I think about the economy from God's perspective, I don't think the economy is all about money.
Right.
Because it means nothing to me to be able to make a lot of money, but not have my emotional well-being, or to not have rest. You know, I believe when you can have rest emotionally, you know, you're sound, and also, you know, the Lord can give increase and you'll be content. And if you didn't have anything, you're still content. I love the Apostle Paul's statement when he says, you know, I'm abased. It means he has times where he's, you know, he's not doing very well probably when it comes to monies or anything else. And he says, I'm bound. There's time when he has plenty. but yet he's content.
Tend to be with
I think contentment is the key during this time. We have to be content to know who we are and to continue to listen to the Lord and obey him as we walk along.
We have the opportunity to see the goodness of God. I've shared this story before on this broadcast, but I was in a situation where I was out of work for 10 months. I had no income.
For 10 months.
For 10 months. Every once in a while, I would pick up a day's work here and there, you know, for $10 an hour. And my wife had her part-time $10 an hour job. So, I mean, you know, basically we had nothing. And yet the Lord saw to it that our bills were paid. I can't tell you how. Nobody sent us money in the mail. Nobody, you know, slipped a $500 bill into my pocket or anything like that. But when I would write down the, you know, what we owed, and at the end of the month, it got paid somehow. Now, you can't take that away from me. I've seen the goodness of God. I've seen that the Father God takes care of his children.
Yes. You know, it's funny you should say that, John, because it's when we don't focus on something, you know, when we don't put our attention upon it, when we have our attention on the right thing, which is the Lord. And I know you probably were just pursuing the Lord and doing what he's told you to do, is when God just covers and takes care of everything else. When we try to put our attention on something and take care of it, that's when things get messed up. To this day, you know, having a wife who's at home, who basically has chosen to be at home to raise our children who are now teenagers, and you know, having 3 teenagers who are in college now, and one income house. You know, when people ask me, well, how do you do that? You know, how do you have 3 children in college and you're the only one making, you know, you're the breadwinner in your home? And I says, well, actually, you know, I'm the one probably working, but my wife is assisting me behind the scenes. Well,
absolutely.
So don't put it all on me. I says, one of the things she'll tell you in a minute is that when I begin to think I'm the one bringing the finances in, she'll tell me in a second, it's not you, it's God. You know, and that's why I love this woman. But one of the things that I think that is pertinent is that I don't think about that. Only thing I know is one is going into their 2nd year, one is going into their 3rd year, and one is going in their 1st year of college. The bills are being paid. That's all I know. Don't ask me how, because I still don't know. You know, and those are the type of situations where I believe God sometimes blinds us to some things that he's doing just so that we don't look at it and mess things up. It's almost like Peter in the water. You know, just walk. He ain't asking you to look at how the water is forming or, you know, what color the water is. Just walk. That's all I've commanded you to do. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep walking until one day, you know, it's just going to be my wife and I at home, and we're going to look back and our kids will have a testimony, which I think is very important.
Yes, they will absolutely know this.
And I believe that, and again, I could share even the same similar kinds of testimony where I took a year off from work, and we only had one income for the household, and yet every bill was paid, car payments were paid, the kids' tuition was paid, and we had only one income coming in. But I think that one of the main threads that weaves this whole thing together is when you operate in the principles of God, in the mercy of God. If you would, so you only shared part of your testimony. You didn't share the part how you've been sowing into the kingdom and into the lives of others. How John has been sowing a lifetime. Well, we know that the scripture is telling us says that as you sow, you shall also reap.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's and that principle, and it's the same thing. We were sowing, and then when it came time for us to reap, guess what? God had no problem with us reaping because we'd sown. And that's one of the things I think that we have to believe in, to understand as believers, is that sometimes we want the benefits without any of the work.